So, Icon had spent half of her college fund on the equipment to make a movie. Soon, she would spend the other half on the film stock it would take to make it happen. She really was going to be a filmmaker. Filmmaker. Wow. Hi, I'm Neil A. Yeager, and today I'm reading from my novel, Non-Hollywood. You can find Non-Hollywood on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or any of those online bookstores. You can also check out this audiobook version on Audible and other audiobook sites. If you're tired of looking at me and would rather just listen in the traditional audiobook way, you can do that. Anyway, this is chapter 47, Screenplay Too Smart. Icon sat and stared at all of the equipment, which filled up a large chunk of their small living room. There were big, rugged, expensive-looking cases for the cameras and lenses and such. There was a set of a dozen different lights on sturdy professional stands. There were several C-stands and on and on. A virtual treasure trove of filming equipment, and it was all hers. All she had to do now was to tell her dad about it and hope that he wouldn't murder her. She had been obsessed with photography since she was 12 and had received the French 16mm film camera for her 16th birthday 2 years ago. She felt that she had a pretty good handle on how she wanted to shoot her film and what she wanted it to end up looking like. And she had a script which she had put together, writing on her own, on and off for the last 6 months. So she had the creative part of it covered. But the actual making a movie part of making a movie, well, that she wasn't so sure about. She usually worked by herself or with Jasmine and occasionally Seth, both of whom she had known for a long time. But actually doing a real film, working with a crew, directing a full cast of actors, sorting out all of the details, she wasn't quite sure about all of that. The process wasn't exactly intuitive, not like baby mammals just instinctively know how to nurse or geeks just instinctively know how to find plot holes in Star Trek episodes. Yet she knew that this was something that she had to do. She felt it inside. This strange grinding pressure inside that told her that she had to do this. She had to, or her insides would just explode. There was that much pressure from herself on herself. She was the kind of person who had a continuous acid feeling in her stomach. She had been chain chewing antacids for as long as she could remember, and she knew that she had to keep moving or she would explode. Icon slipped her headphones on and started playing the chill music of the dolphin mantra. She then closed her eyes, yet her hands curled into fists, tense, tightly clenched fists. And she sat there, eyes closed tightly, fists clenched tightly. She sat there and tried to get her mind to slow enough to think of the first step she should take now that she had all of this equipment. Jasmine bounded into the room and said, "Wow, just look at all this stuff." Jasmine had just returned from the gym and was, in fact, still wearing her workout apparel. She was always wound up after returning from the gym. It would take at least an hour for her to come down. Icon opened her eyes. Jasmine had broken her concentration, which in this instance was probably a good thing, as it would prevent Icon from grinding her teeth and furrowing her brow to the point of headache. Icon said, "Hey Jazz, good workout?" Pretty good. Wish I'd done more cardio so I could have some ice cream right about now." Icon was about to say, "Just have some ice cream," but she knew better. One of the costs of life as an actor is that you are continually watching what you eat. Competition in the acting world was fierce, and 2 pounds of body fat could maybe make the difference between getting the role that would make you a giant star and spending the next 40 years waiting tables. "How much cardio did you do?" Icon asked. "I did 45 on the ellipse and 30 on the bike. I should have done the stairs too, but I wanted to get back here so I could get some sleep before this audition tomorrow. And what are you up to? Jasmine asked. Oh, I'm just trying to think through how to go about making this movie. The Bible movie? It's not a Bible movie. Sorry. It's an exploration of the different levels of belief. Sorry, said Jasmine again. Then they sat in silence for a moment. Jasmine picked up the remote and was about to turn on the television, but first she asked, So, this short film we've been working on, is it done? Well, almost, said Icon. Then we can move on to this next one, a feature. Cool, said Jasmine as she turned on the TV. Icon fidgeted nervously and said, You know, you never did tell me what you thought of the script. Icon paused, trying to read Jasmine's face. Icon continued, Which I assume means that you didn't like it? Well, it's not that, said Jasmine. It's good at what you're trying to do. The exploration of faith thing, I think you've got that. It's very, smart and all that. So I think that's good. But Jasmine seemed to gather her thoughts for a moment. People don't want smart, she said. Well, actually, that's not true. They want smart. They just don't want too smart. Yours is, well, it's kind of esoteric, Icon blinked. Had Jasmine really just used the word esoteric? Jasmine continued, if it was me, I think I'd wait a bit. Do another pass at the script, see where I could put some more commercial stuff into it. Commercial? Well, that's not what I mean. I mean, more things that people would want to watch. Oh, that, said Icon as she cringed. Oh, geez, I didn't mean that either. I mean, I understand that it's an indie film and it can be all arty and stuff, and it should be all arty and stuff, but between all of the intellectual talking and all that, you need things that will really pull people in. Like sex in the motel room scene? Well, yeah. Or somebody beating the crap out of somebody, or somebody getting shot, or jumping off a cliff, or just something other than talking. Icon shrugged and said, Well, yeah, but that's not the kind of film I'm making, Jazz. Okay, then I won't say anything else. I'll just be supportive. That's me, Miss Supportive USA. Icon looked at her and asked, And you'll still be in it, right? Of course I will. Plus my acting coach says, never say no to anything except porn. Icon replied, Oh, I don't know about that. Actually, I hear that porn pays a lot better than indie films. Jasmine sighed. I would love to be in your film, Icon. Even if it's esoteric? Even if it's esoteric. Jasmine turned the TV back off again. So, you've got me and you've got Seth. The rest of the parts you'll need to cast, right? Icon nodded. Yeah, I guess so. Alrighty, then I guess you should get on writing some casting notices. Guess I should. I'm not exactly sure how to go about that, but yeah, I need to do that. Jasmine smiled and said, I'll help. I've read enough of the damn things to know how they should be written. Great. Well, thank you, Jazz. You're welcome. And now that we've got the business stuff taken care of, you're going to tell me what's up with you and this musician who keeps coming over. What do you mean? Jasmine teasingly mimicked her. What do you mean? You know what I mean. He's nice. He's got a cute butt, said Jasmine. Oh, stop it. But I would have pictured you with some nerdy, smart guy. This guy doesn't strike me as either one of those. He is nice. Okay, said Jasmine. He's nice. Anything else? Icon said nothing, but she did begin to blush.